Welcome back to The Disturbing Reel. Before I go into today's episode, I want to make a statement at the beginning. Before you comment, understand this clearly. If you're going to proceed to posting negative accusations about Lucifer Valentine being a predator under my podcast or any of my socials, and I have already addressed the actual facts of the situation in this episode, then it's obvious you haven't listened. If you have listened and still want to make those claims, then I ask for one simple thing. Include credible, verifiable proof that supports what you're alleging. I'm not here to absorb a backlash of negativity or baseless hostility. If you don't have solid proof to attach to your claims, you will be ignored. I am simply here to talk about extreme cinema. Yes, Lucifer Valentine released Slaughtered Vomit Dolls. Yes, it is extreme. And yes, it is a movie, and therefore I will talk about it. If genuine, verifiable evidence ever surfaces, even anonymously, you can send it to my email at sensorystowers@gmail.com. I will put my hands up, acknowledge it, and apologise for having been wrong. Until that happens, I will continue discussing his work and the realities of the extreme underground film. With that said, let's move on. Slaughtered Vomit Dolls from 2006 is the first entry in Lucifer Valentine's Vomit Gore trilogy, an experimental, non-linear, extreme horror film that follows Angela Aberdeen, a bulimic runaway stripper sliding through hallucinations, ritual abuse, and splattery bodily fluid set pieces. It runs for about 71 minutes and was distributed in the US, United States, by Unearth Films, run by Stephen Biro. The credited writer-director is Lucifer Valentine, a Canadian-American underground filmmaker. The trilogy's identity is built around his coined Vomit Gore label. The film stars Amira LeVay as Angela. For context, you may see reporting that Lucifer Valentine is a persona pseudonym often linked to Sean Federchuk in making of notes and bios, but the films themselves credit Valentine as the director. This isn't narrative horror. It's an abrasive collage. Valentine cuts together micro scenes, video diary fragments, ritual taboo, and degraded VHS-style inserts. Now, time collapses, image and sound are weaponized. Think more fever installation than movie. Strobe edits, whispered, voiceover, atonal drones, and sudden bursts of static and metal all grind the viewer down. The plot only intermittently surfaces through reoccurring motifs. Angela's disordered eating, exploitation, and occult imagery until the film sinks into a final act of self-destruction. Shot on lo-fi formats, the look is purposefully, ugly. Blown highlights, smeared colour, camera shake, and hard audio cuts. That grime isn't an accident. It's the point, a texture meant to revive the rawness of 90s tape trading and body horror shock reels, while also feeling like a bleak art school installation. The repetition is intentional: vomit, sex, death, repeat, until it slides from gross out into a kind of punitive ritual. Amira LeVay gives the movie its backbone. Her Angela feels more like an open wound than a character. In the improv, adjacent delivery, sobbing monologues, I don't know where my words are going tonight. Tracy stays. or trancey states, sells the film's found torment illusion. Even detractors often note her presence sticks with you long after the credits roll. Now, what actually works in Slaughtered Vomit Dolls is as an endurance test and mood piece. It's singular. If you meet the film on its own terms, its hypnotic ugliness can be effective. One long-running cult site even called the experience uniquely disturbing in a way few others manage. The audio design, whispers, drones, abrupt silences, well, it does as much damage as the visuals. Now, what doesn't work is many critics argue there's no catharsis or insight, just provocation. Joe Below and Horror News both panned it for being monotonous, misogynistic in effect, and devoid of ideas beyond confrontation. Now, the ethical discomfort isn't just about content, it's about gaze. The movie keeps returning to female suffering as a spectacle, which fuels its reputation as exploitative rather than exploratory for a lot of viewers and reviewers. In the extreme horror micro scene, Slaughtered Vomit Dolls is genuinely well known, not widely liked. It's a touchstone you watch to test your limits, discuss on forums, podcasts, and shelve in a For a Brave Only section. Re-releases on a box set from Unearthed kept it circulating in that world. In mainstream and mid-occult outlets, Joe Below, Horror News, with occasional guarded defendants praising its art shock ambition. DVD Talks Trilogy Review and cinephile platforms like MUBI hosting it for curiosity seekers. There's no real tomatometer profile to speak of, an indicator of limited mainstream penetration rather than secret popularity. Reddit horror boards, niche podcasts keeps its notoriety alive. Lots of "Is this the limit?" threads, side-by-side comparisons with August Underground, Snuff 102, etc. And reoccurring debates about whether it's art or edgelord provocation. That's cultural currency in the underground, but it's not the same as affection. Now, in 2025, discourse about censorship and video nasties, journalists still reach for Slaughtered Vomit Dolls as a modern benchmark for extremity. Proof it remains a reference point in shock cinema conversations, even if most horror fans will never and should never press play. Now, the director, Lucifer Valentine, credited, operating in a mythologized underground persona, the film, a confrontational, non-linear body horror collage that prioritizes sensation over story. Now, standing in the underground, famous but not popular, it's widely known and frequently discussed, but mostly disliked outside extreme cinema diehards. Its influence is more about notoriety than fandom. And yes, I've seen what people online have said. I've seen the accusations, the comments, the claims. But here's the truth. I haven't seen a single piece of verifiable evidence to back any of it up. Not one document, not one official report, nothing that would stand up in reality. And I'm not the kind of person who takes hearsay as proof. Because if I did, then by the same logic, anyone could accuse you of anything tomorrow and you'd be expected to take hearsay as evidence too. And we all know that's not how the truth works. People love drama, but people respect proof over drama every single day. Every time a claim gets made online, the first question is always, where's the proof? So this situation is no different. Let's also be honest. Online spaces can become echo chambers fast. One person throws out a claim, and suddenly everyone who wants to feel aligned, relevant, or part of in the crowd starts repeating it without ever checking a single fact. And yes, I've seen the comments about me too. Yes, me. The armchair critics. The people calling me names because I'm discussing a piece of extreme cinema. But here's the truth. I'm not losing sleep over opinions from strangers who don't pay my rent, don't know me, and don't bring any evidence to the table. I'm not here to follow a herd just to stay relevant online. I'm here to stand my ground, talk about extreme cinema honestly, and stay transparent. I'm not bowing down to internet pressure or social media trends. I'd rather stand alone with integrity than chase approval for the sake of it. That's why I'm talking about slaughtered vomit dolls. That's why I discuss extreme cinema, an extreme film. And that's why I won't pretend hearsay is evidence just because the internet wants a villain of the week. If real, verifiable proof ever comes forward, I will acknowledge it openly. And I will say right now, if anybody has been harmed at the hands of Lucifer Valentine, I am not saying you are lying. That is not what I'm saying here. But I haven't seen anything to back anything up. So until then, I'm sticking to the facts, not the noise. So, would I recommend you checking out Slaughtered Vomit Dolls? Absolutely. It is very different. I'm actually quite proud to have these movies in my collection. I have supported his movies, Lucifer Valentine's movies, for years, and I mean years. And to finally have them in my collection is quite surreal to me. You know, because years ago I seen them online, I seen everybody with them, doing an unboxing of them, and I really wished I was one of those people. And now I am. And I couldn't thank Lucifer Valentine enough for standing out with the crowd and doing something different. Even though I am not into the vomit side of things, but I appreciate the work that went into these movies. Now, with that being said, this was a very short talk on Slaughtered Vomit Dolls. However, I don't want to go into too much detail because I want to leave what else happens in this movie up to the listener. I want you to go over to whatever website you can find this to buy them and buy them outright. And you will not regret it. If you are into extreme cinema, you're going to want these movies on DVD. If you are into the obscure, the different, the ones that stand out, the ones that push the boundaries, you need to buy these movies. I highly recommend. But the next episode I will be doing, which will be released straight after this one, is we're going to be doing a deep dive into none other than one of my favourite extreme cinema films of all time that's been at the #1 spot for over 5 years, a Serbian film. I'm so excited to talk about that one, so stay tuned and I will catch you on a Serbian film. Bye, sickos.